Welcome to the PK of the Valley. I'm Noah Bushel, and this is the place where I get to talk with authors, leaders, and creators from all over the world. I'm here to learn, ask your questions, and hear the story behind the people making a difference. Thanks for listening. Let's get into today's conversation. Hello, and welcome to another PK of the Valley episode. I'm your host, Noah Bushel, and let's get into today's conversation. We have a very special guest here today. His name is Chris Bushel. Chris, can you share a little about your life and how you have surrendered to Jesus and he forgave you from your sins?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, let me just say what an honor it is to be on your podcast show. And second of all, let me also just follow up with that by saying how weird it is to hear you call me Chris.
Yeah.
Um, for those that maybe don't know, I'm your father, so I guess that makes me the pastor of the valley, and you're the PK of the valley. So, um, no, it's an honor to be on your podcast show. Just really, really proud of you. But a little bit about me. I grew up in the Midwest, as you know, and I grew up hearing about God, but not really understanding Him or even really truly believing in Him, if you want to put it that way. I got lost for a lot of years in addiction and all types of stuff in my teenage years, and God radically changed my life in 2006, changed me forever, and set me on a course that I never dreamed possible. Starting out with going into the mission field and traveling the world and finding your mother and getting married to her down in Brazil, then having you and your sister down there until we moved back up here to the States about 8 years ago and had your little brother there. So that's kind of a snapshot of my life.
That's really nice. I'm sure I could relate to that too. If you had to choose a Bible verse that carried you through seasons, what would it be and why?
Probably Revelation 12:11. It's they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. They did not love their life so much as to shrink from death. It's always given me hope. Number one, because it's the blood of the Lamb. So Jesus's blood, it covers everything, a multitude of sin. It has just, it is the reason that we are able to even be in his presence today. And the second thing is the word of our testimony. Sometimes when I think about, the pain of my past and everything, and even the pain of other people's past, it could be really easy to think about how, things were really bad. But in all reality, this is one of the strongest tools that the Creator gave us, allowing us to go through that. It creates a testimony. I've heard it said multiple times, and I absolutely love it. You can't have a testimony without a test. And so we overcome all of this. We overcome the enemy by the blood of the Lamb, the word of the testimony. And the final thing is because we don't love our lives so much as to shrink or hide from death, it means that
Yeah.
nothing in this world is more important than what's happening on the next side of eternity with Him.
Yeah. What's one thing you wish 5, 10 years ago, or when you was my age?
Oh, like wish that I knew? Is that
Yeah.
what you mean? Okay. Well, let's go back to 5 or 10 years ago. If one thing I wish that I knew or hoped that I knew 5 or 10 years ago was that this isn't a sprint, that I shouldn't be in a rush to get things done, and I should enjoy the season that I'm in, no matter what it looks like. And something that I would have hoped to know when I was your age, and so what, you're 10 years old. Um, that not to take my childhood way too serious, to enjoy it while I can, and to understand that one day and hopefully soon that I'm going to come out of it. So no matter what difficulty I'm going through, it's not the end of the world. There's always tomorrow, even though it might feel like it. It's not the end of the world. And just to enjoy it and to enjoy it while I can, because I'll look back on it as some of my finest moments.
Yeah, I can relate to that maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. What mistakes taught you the most?
Oh, the most painful ones taught me the most. Some that you'll read about in my book, but some of the most painful mistakes that have hurt the most, either myself and other people, that taught me the most. Not only to teach me more about the Creator and His love and His mercy, but also what I'm capable of, and what I can endure.
Yeah, that's a nice thing to say. Uh, what does courage mean to you today?
Ooh, courage. Courage, I'm actually writing a sermon, talking about this on Sunday, so you might get to hear it, talking about Joshua. And, a lot of people, they might think that he was just really brave and everything because of everything that he accomplished with the help of the Lord, but he was full of fear a lot of the times. He was up against everything. And so when I think of courage, I think, you might be afraid, you might not be fully certain in everything, but you have the courage to take a step forward in faith because we're relying on his strength, not ours.
Yeah. How do you celebrate wins, both small and big?
I don't do a whole lot of celebrating these days. But, big wins, I like to just take a step back and I like to reflect. If I'm doing anything, I want to just relax a little bit and I want to remember and just really acknowledge the fact that God had the victory, that I got to be a part of it, but it was him that caused it all to happen and I got to really enjoy it.
Yeah. God is amazing, isn't he?
Yes, yes, he is.
How did you first learn about God?
Well, I kind of already answered that question. Maybe not to this full extent, but I grew up in a family that would talk about God and would drag me to church, and I would hear about him in Sunday school and also, Catholic school, going all the way to high school with it. But it was always very distant. I'd hear the rules and everything. Didn't really know if I fully believed it all. But either way, it wasn't personal to me until I really got to experience him.
Yeah. I bet that's tough.
Yeah.
How do you stay faithful when even no one is watching?
Just remembering that he's always watching, that everything we do on this side of eternity will reflect on the next. And, even though people aren't watching me like a hawk 24/7, my creator is, and I don't want to let him down.
Yeah. What does it mean to finish God's work faithfully?
Just being obedient in the small. One of my favorite quotes, one of my favorite preachers was David Wilkerson. And one of my favorite quotes by him was, God never calls us to be successful. He calls us to be obedient. The success, it depends upon him. So as long as we are obedient to everything that he asks us to do, he's going to make it successful. Whether or not it looks like that on this side of eternity, on the next, it absolutely will.
Yeah. To all the pastors and missionaries around the world, what advice would you give them?
Wake up. Um, there's a lot that are very distracted, that have got focused on other things. Young preachers and young missionaries and pastors, they get focused on other things that maybe the older ones don't struggle with anymore. Um, but in all different stages of ministry and life, we have a tendency of getting comfortable, a tendency of getting distracted, and we almost convince ourselves that we're going to live forever. And if I had a message to any missionary or pastor out there, it's wake up and remember that eternity can happen like that.
Yeah. One question that I really was wondering is why do you think helping other people is important?
Um, because we're supposed to love our Creator God first and foremost, and second of all, we're supposed to love other people like He loved them. And so, if other people are important enough to God, they should be important enough to us. And it's not always easy. Sometimes it's costly, and sometimes you have to force yourself to. But at the end of the day, you're choosing to love someone else because they're important to God.
Hmm. Just an extended question. Why is working together in a church so important?
It teaches you quite a bit. One thing that is common inside of every church, no matter what denomination or what state, people are people and they make mistakes, and everyone has different personalities. And it's learning to work with each other and doing things together as a team. I believe God designed it that way. He could have created a perfect church, but then people wouldn't be allowed in it because we're not perfect.
Yeah. What did God teach you while doing mission, mission?
Mission,
Yes,
missions work?
yes, yes.
Okay, you betcha. He taught me to be a man of faith. Um, there's so many times that life was difficult. Being able to pay bills, being able to figure out where the meal was going to come from, being able to figure out what the next opportunity would be in front of us. You were too young to really see the amount of struggles that we went through. But I know that you've heard about them, but it all boiled down to learning to depend on him and not anything in this world.
Hmm. What have you learned about David Wilkerson, the one that you thought taught you the most?
Oh, I learned, so when I first heard about him, obviously I was a student in Teen Challenge back in 2007, and that's a ministry that he started and founded. But I put him on this pedestal. I thought like he was almost like a saint, I guess, and started listening to a lot of his messages, and I realized, just he was a very powerful speaker, and you could tell he was being used by God mightily. And then my later years, I really came to understand, he was human just like the rest of us. And yes, he made mistakes along the way, but I believe he was faithful to the end. And I believe that I'll see him again on the next side of eternity. And if I do, I really hope to be able to just, shake his hand and thank him for, giving to the Lord, as cliche as that sounds.
Yeah. What challenges have you faced while working in Teen Challenge?
Oh, well, it's a whole different beast than working for a church, I'll tell you that much. Sometimes, in a church has its different difficulties, but running a teen challenge campus like I did, I was the director for the teen challenge in Texas. Not only are you dealing with all the different personalities and making sure that the boat is moving in one direction, but at the other side, almost half of your job is raising money. And it's a lot of money that you have to raise to be able to make things happen and keep the bills paid. And you have a lot of people depending on you. And you know that if the bills don't get paid, the organization shuts down, and all those people that are there for help, they have to go somewhere else. And so it's a lot of stress. Um, but you learn how to be creative in that, and you learn throughout the whole process that it's always 100% God. God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He can make money happen like that, but he uses a lot of other people, gives a lot of people opportunities, and you get to really see just how everyone works together to make something happen.
If someone was like a beginner and didn't know the Bible at all and didn't even know Jesus, what
Hmm.
is one book you think they should start with?
One of the Gospels, I always enjoy John. Sometimes it might be a little difficult for some people. Mark is pretty, straight and to the point, so it really depends on your personality. If you're a type of person that you like to know more the Hebrew side and the theological stuff, go ahead and get with John or get with Matthew. If you want something that's really direct, really straight to the point, Mark is one of those. It's only 16 chapters. It's kind of a wham bam type of situation, and just real direct point, 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 and maybe you can branch off from there.
Yeah. What's one challenge or a couple challenges that you faced doing being a dad?
Ooh, boy, paying bills. How about that one? Kids are not cheap. But apart from all of that, it's understanding that everything that I say and do in front of my kids, they're learning and they're watching from, and I could really help mold them into becoming a really good person, or I could shape them into becoming someone that's going to cause this world a lot of problems. And so the weight of every decision that I make, it really sticks with me. It makes me think twice.
Yeah. What are you hoping for, dreaming of, or working towards next in the future?
Well, right now I'm pastoring a church here in Washington, as you know, and we're working on getting it well established, reorganized, and looking for growth here in 2026. The foundation here is very strong. We have really good believers here. People have been faithful and waiting for a move of God, and I believe they're going to see it here in 2026. So that is my entire focus is building this church and getting to really impact this valley that we're in here in the Cascade Mountains. Or the valley that we're in, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of hurt and suffering, a lot of witchcraft. There's a lot of opposition, but there are people that they need to see the light of Christ, and that's my goal is to be able to train some people here in this church to be able to reach as many people here as possible.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time here today, and I
Yeah,
will see you next episode.
sounds good. I might see you tonight though, when I get home from work.
Thanks for listening to PK of the Valley. If you liked today's conversation, follow the show and share it with someone who might enjoy it. You can also keep up with everything I'm doing by checking out the latest episodes. I'm Noah Bushell, the PK of the Valley, and I'll see you next time.